This year's New York International Auto Show came to a close at the weekend. As every year, the venue was the Jacob Javits Convention Center in Manhattan. In recent years, the show's been enjoying growing attention from industry insiders and the media.
Well, the New York show is a pretty major show for the US, but obviously it's not that big compared to what you would see on a scale around the world. So let's say we just were in Geneva. Geneva is kind of the equivalent of a fashion show, a runway fashion show. I would say New York is a little bit like a ready-to-wear collection. Maybe you're not seeing the world debuts of these crazy, insane supercars like you see in Geneva, but you do see a lot of very good, solid debuts of cars that are going to sell really well in the US, like SUVs, some sports cars as well, but you're not going to see the really crazy stuff that you see at some of the European shows.
Porsche presented its Macan compact SUV with a new engine. We have introduced a turbocharged four-cylinder version of the Macan with 252 horsepower. 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds. Fret not, its four cylinders pack quite a punch. This Macan resembles more powerful Porsche models in both looks and specs. The new Prius Prime sees Toyota focusing on eco-friendly mobility. This second-generation plug-in hybrid reflects the manufacturer's close attention to customer feedback on its predecessor.
It's a huge vehicle for us, not necessarily in a lot of volume, but it really adds a great halo over the Toyota brand. It adds a lot of innovation and improvements and technology and safety into the Prius family.
The Prius Prime comes with a new, larger 8.8 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, which extends its electric range. Flying the flag for domestic brands was Lincoln, showcasing a huge new SUV, the Navigator Concept.
Well, America is always associated with big cars and SUVs. I think part of that is because there's so much space in America. You know, we have wide open roads. It's kind of the idea of the American dream. People have families that have a lot of things. You want a lot of space when you travel. So typically, a show in the US, like the New York Auto Show, is the place where they unveil cars like this.
Audi showed off its powerful new R8 Spider convertible. We've given it a beautiful 10-cylinder engine, so it's great fun to drive with the roof down. The sound is music to your ears. You don't need a radio, just relish the sound of those 10 cylinders. With 397 kilowatts of power and 540 newton-meters of torque, it makes the dash to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.6 seconds. The two-seater convertible is quite a beauty and also a state-of-the-art piece of engineering. With plenty of aluminium and carbon and less steel, it weighs in at just 1,612 kilograms. Mercedes is another brand deeply committed to performance. It showcased a new SUV, a new GLC Coupe, and several new products from its in-house pimping parlor, AMG.
One of the most significant debuts here at the New York Auto Show is for Mercedes-Benz. They have unveiled 4 world premieres of AMG variants across their different model lineup. The U.S. is a very important market for the AMG brand. Statistics say that 27% of all AMG models that are sold here in the U.S. So obviously Mercedes is going very aggressively after the U.S. market.
The World Car of the Year awards are also always part of the New York Auto Show. 73 automotive journalists from around the world make up the jury. There are awards in 4 categories and an overall winner. This year's performance car title went to the Audi R8. the Mazda MX-5 really cleaned up, winning both the Design Award and the top prize, World Car of the Year.
We have a strong philosophy to develop the products, and technology and design has come together and deliver driving fun. And brand essence of celebrate driving is a real core value, and we strive to deliver this core value to all the customer. And this award endorses our efforts, so we are very happy with that.
Away from the awards, Mazda also presented its MX-5 RF with a retractable hardtop. The two-seater Roadster is the latest incarnation of Mazda's legendary sports car. Fans of the Opel Astra can now indulge in the youngest member of the compact class station wagon generation. The Sports Tourer continues a tradition that began with the very first Kadett in the early 1960s. Over a fifth of the 24 million Kadetts and Astras sold were wagons. The new Astra Sports Tourer is the 10th generation of Opel's popular family car. The Opel Kadett wagon was a revolution on its launch in 1963, explains our carman Reinhold. A compact vehicle with an enormous trunk and originally called the Caravan. Its seats were likewise completely new. These ones look more like camping chairs, but technology has moved on since then. And today, between 10 and 12% of production costs for a new model go on the engineering and construction of the seats. To fill us in, Reinhold has brought along an expert, Andrew Leuchtmann. Modern seats are the product of a lot of development work and money. Why exactly do they cost so much? The biggest factor is safety, explains the expert from Opel, an area in which seats have become hugely important. I like to illustrate it with the example of a car doing a crash test, he says, which everyone has seen on TV. The impact releases a massive amount of energy, and it's the seat that helps to ensure the occupant stays put, so that the airbag, belt, and all those other features can do their job. It also has to be a lightweight construction because of CO2 emissions. Plus, these days, people expect ergonomic, comfortable seats. So all that combined pushes up the costs. And on the visual front too, the Astra Sports Tourer sets itself apart from the competition, thanks to the divided C-pillar and sloping roofline. The front boasts an all-new double-chrome bar carrying the Opel lightning bolt, which merges into the LED matrix headlights. The nice and wide tailgate opens and closes automatically with a little kick of the foot. Measuring 4 meters 70 long, the new Astra Sports Tourer has a trunk capacity of 1,630 litres, 80 more than in the previous version. As in the sedan, the Sports Tourer also comes with an extensive range of assists and online multimedia and navigation systems. The Sports Tourer is now bigger on the inside, reports Reinhold. There's more headroom at the front and more space for the second row of seats too. The rear bench is now split in 3 with a 40-20-40 split. That also enables you to load long cargo in over the middle seat. The 160 horsepower diesel engine may have a displacement of only 1.6 litres, but has the sound of a far bigger machine. Buyers have a choice of 5 gasoline engines with outputs of up to 147 kilowatts and 4 diesel units with up to 118 kilowatts. The lowest price configuration costs €18,260. In Germany, the version we checked out sells for just over €29,000. Among the many features are traffic sign recognition, emergency braking, blind spot alert and a lane keep assist. Plus perfect smartphone connectivity, ergonomic seats and new high-torque and low-consumption diesel engines. Reynolds says the Opel Astra Sports Tourer is a sound alternative to similar models from Volkswagen, Skoda and Ford. Plus, the Astra is the only car in its class to come with LED matrix lights, adding a boost to nighttime safety. This car is 1.74 meters wide and 4.42 meters long and belongs to the compact class. The bestsellers in the segment come from the big players, the Ford Focus, Toyota Corolla and Volkswagen Golf. But this compact car is made by the automotive division of Japan's Fuji Heavy Industries. In other words, it's the new Subaru Impreza. The compact class is as competitive as it gets, says our car reviewer Andre. One new trend we're seeing in the segment is manufacturers seeking to combine more engine versions and vehicles with all-wheel drive. And here comes Subaru and says, anything you can do, we can do sooner. The car maker does have a long tradition in all-wheel drive, and the Impreza represents a nice price rival to the Golf and is only available with all-wheel drive. We tried out the top-of-the-line edition of the Impreza with xenon lights, rear-view camera and adaptive cruise control. The 2-litre boxer engine generates 110 kilowatts of power. All in all, it will cost you €25,350 in Germany. What Andre really appreciates is how the test car pulls away so swiftly. So if you're out and about on city streets with this 2-litre engined Impreza, you needn't worry about slowing other road users down. But Subaru wouldn't be the world's biggest producer of all-wheel drive passenger cars if it didn't have some very special setup. Subaru calls it symmetrical all-wheel drive. Whereas most car makers in the compact segment have systems that only engage the rear wheels when the front wheels slip, the Impreza boasts permanent 50-50 all-wheel drive. In addition to all-wheel drive, explains Andre, Subaru is also a fan of boxer engines, which then lower the car's centre of gravity. Elementary physics will tell you that this in turn improves handling. If the weight were higher up, there'd be a bigger tendency to roll when driving around bends. So the Impreza's handling benefits big time. Here there's no oversteer and no understeer. You target your curve, steer into it and just drive. It's perfect.
Lenkt, fährt durch. Alles wie es sein sollte, optimal.
In purely visual terms, the interior seems on the Spartan side. But our test car did have a leather steering wheel and a multifunctional display above the infotainment system. A rear axle used to power the car often means less cargo space, but with the rear bench up, the Impreza is certainly a match for the class leader, the Golf. As for the rest of the interior, at first Andre found the seats a little too soft, and the steering wheel is on the skinny side. He likes a bit more to hold on to.
Also ich glaube, da fände ich es schon schöner, wenn da ein bisschen mehr Material wäre, wenn das ein bisschen griffiger wäre.
While other manufacturers reserve all-wheel drive for higher price segments, you can get it here for as little as €18,600. The Subaru Impreza is a car for drivers with their very own style, or for people who don't live in the city. Overall, Andre says the Impreza is an ideal option if you live up in the hills with frequent snow and other challenging road conditions. With its all-wheel expertise, this is something of an insider tip, especially with regard to the price tag. It's a Fiat. A Fiat 500, but not the one you may be used to. Our car reviewer Emmanuel puts it through its paces. This isn't the regular Fiat 500, he says, but its bigger brother, the 500X, a mini SUV crossover. It's built on the same platform as its American cousin from the Fiat Chrysler family, the Jeep Renegade. The 500X is quite a bit bigger than the 500, 70 centimetres longer and almost 20 wider. There is a choice of 3 diesel and 2 gasoline engines, ranging from 70 to 104 kilowatts of output. There's not much room in the back, reckons Emmanuel. Other SUVs are certainly more spacious. But it's okay for short trips, especially in town. And despite its off-road look, the 500X is meant to be a city car. The rear lights are just like those on the regular 500. The trunk capacity ranges from 245 to 1,000 litres. But enough of the stats, let's get moving. Options for the top models include 4-wheel drive and automatic. Our test car is a 103 kilowatts or 140 horsepower 2-litre diesel. Floor it and the 300 newton meters of torque will put the front axle in quite a spin, or both axles in the 4x4 model. And off you go. The starting price in Germany for the 500X is just under 17,000 euros. This test car with the biggest diesel engine costs close to 27,000. In Emmanuel's opinion, the suspension is definitely too hard. They're marketing the 500X as an SUV. If you actually went off-road in it, you would probably get a proper shaking up. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 9.8 seconds. Top speed is 190. The interior sports rather a lot of plastic, but the cockpit is well thought out. All the controls are easy to find, but at least in this version, the controls are shiny. So if you've just creamed your hands or have sticky fingers, you will certainly leave your mark, and that's not pretty.
Irgendwie sich die Hände eincremt oder fettige Finger hat, dann hat man ruckzuck da Fingerabdrücke drauf und das ist natürlich alles andere als schön.
Start and stop costs an extra 350 euros with this edition. It's standard in the Cross and Cross Plus models. All in all, the 500X certainly has its strengths and some weaknesses. One good thing is the design. In contrast to the 500L, which looks like a stretched blob of chewing gum and really does not look nice, the 500X does have some of the charm of the original 500.
Die auch der normale 500 trägt und versprüht dementsprechend auch diesen gewissen Charme.
vinyl roof. Abundant chrome trim. The finest leather and wood inlays. It must be a luxury car from the early 1970s. The Jaguar XJ Coupe with its V12 engine is quintessentially English, blending elegance and sportiness into one. At the 1973 London Motor Show, the British luxury brand rolled out a four-seat coupe version of the XJ it launched 5 years before. The series' familiar straight-six engine was standard, with a V12 as a glorious option. Since it was made in very small production runs, the Noble Cat is rarely seen on the open road these days, or even at vintage car meets. Jens Zeltrecht of Hamburg's Garage 11 dealership appreciates the sleek lines of the older car and the 12-cylinder engine's interaction with the automatic transmission. He says it's nothing like the conventional powertrains of the time, but he can hardly put it into words. Jaguar's 5.3-litre V12 was a legend among car engines, famous for its even acceleration and silky smooth running. But among mechanics, the car was more infamous. Jens Zeltrecht says the engine compartment looks more like a snake pit. He's got no problem with the engine itself. It can run dependably for some 200,000 kilometres without an overhaul. But he doesn't like disassembling the entire intake duct just to fix the air conditioning. Maintenance is very time-consuming, even if parts are relatively easy to find. But otherwise, he says, the car is nothing to fear. Jaguar unveiled the XJ Coupe in 1973, but it didn't appear in showrooms until 2 years later. It targeted the individualist who could dispense with 4 doors in favour of 2, but not with the luxury of the Jaguar sedan it was based on. Jens describes it as a car for the connoisseur, capable of high speeds, though without matching aerodynamic design. The grille is a bit small for his taste, but he likes the way his Jag glides along at 160 kilometers per hour. It has no B-pillar, so driving on country highways with the windows down is heavenly. The imitation leather vinyl roof is typical of the 1970s. And having 2 fuel tank filler necks near the rear windshield is typical of Jaguar. Aside from the rear doors, the coupe has all the amenities of the sedan, among them a large trunk for that holiday on the French Riviera, and space for 4 people. The interior offers the obligatory luxury ambience with fine wood panelling around the dash and British Connolly leather on the doors and seats. In the mid-1970s, an XJ12 Coupe cost the equivalent of about €25,000, making it Jaguar's most expensive model. Jens says it was a top car for a top price. At the time, it cost about the same as a small townhouse, like plunking down €200,000 for a car today, just as far beyond the reach of ordinary mortals now as it was then. Parts are available for the XJ, but it may take some intensive searching to find a 12-cylinder coupe in good condition. And it could easily cost the same, €25,000 it did new. Jens Zeltrecht explains that prices for the XJ Coupe are climbing, and they're much higher than for a sedan from the time. Very few specimens are left. The body, the last to be designed by Sir William Lyons, and the powertrain are unique. All this makes for the car's attraction. The launch of the next generation Jaguar Coupe, the 2x2 XJS in 1975, spelled the demise of the XJ Coupe. But hardcore Jaguar connoisseurs insist the XJS can't measure up to the elegance of an XJ Coupe, one of the most alluring automotive creations of the 70s.